It's that time again. So I'm watching tons of videos about theism and atheism and whether or not God really exists. This is past me talking about the earth being flat necessarily, even though I've come to the conclusion that it is. But I guess what's really important, or what really drives me to believe that there has to be a God, is the fact that everybody say we came from a big bang, but the big bang comes from a random explosion. Now, the scientific method states that things are supposed to be observable and repeatable as evidence. You can't observe the Big Bang because you wasn't there, and you can't repeat it. And when I say repeat a Big Bang, I don't mean, oh, you make an explosion and it's supposed to be a Big Bang. No, I mean you set up an explosion that comes from absolutely nothing after everything, which was nothing, which also doesn't make sense, was so dense that it exploded. And then when that happened, it created something that works perfectly over time. My problem with the fact that people would say God doesn't exist is this whole Big Bang thing. There's no way that we can be here by random chance, because the Big Bang isn't, that's no possible way of seeing it and repeating it. Now, people like to say that God isn't real because they can't see him and because they don't have observable proof. But you also don't have observable proof of a Big Bang that created everything as far as the universe and the world that we live in. So I have to go ahead and say that God is real, and there can't be any other explanation. So if everything didn't come from a Big Bang, then that means things were created. Like, you're not going to go into a rainforest, chill in the rainforest, find a Tesla in the rainforest and be like, yeah, that's based on natural processes that happen over time. You would think somebody put the Tesla in the rainforest, wouldn't you? It's not random. So to sit here and say that everything came from nothing and it created an explosion, and then that explosion made things work perfectly over this mass amount of time, just does not make sense anymore. Like, I know that people think I'm crazy, or say people that think the way I think are crazy, but you don't think it's crazy that you could see an explosion happen and then it's rubble, chaos, everything's all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like, when have you ever seen an explosion make things work properly? Like, I got this watch on my wrist. It's just a regular watch. Would you say that this came from a random explosion and then over time and natural processes this watch was formed? Or would you say that somebody created it? That's all I'm saying. You can sit here and say that God doesn't exist, but you can't explain to me using a scientific method, because like I said, it has to be observable and repeatable, and the Big Bang is not. You'll say, oh, well, God's saying, let there be light. That's not observable and repeatable. Nothing in the Bible is observable and repeatable, because it was all just stories that were told by people who were making things up, and it was inspired by the divine word of God. I just still can't get past the fact that a Big Bang made everything. It just doesn't make sense anymore, man.